So hello and welcome to the pascom phone system training series. The topic of today's tutorial is taking a look at client actions. Now, some of you will be familiar with the server performing actions, how we handle calls and so on and so on. And the client can do something very similar. And for that, we need a little bit of information. What are we actually going to do? What are we going to use the client to, what actions are going to be performed?
So if you think about the client and integrations into other software, we have already click to dial, which is very handy.
Yeah.
You just have a number, you click something and then it dials out of whatever application, as long as you can copy the number. So, but that's possible in almost every. If it's a picture, no, but...
Yeah, if it's a picture, no, but I mean, for example, you got a website, you copy it, press the shortcut key and it's done. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And that's used by a lot of our users because it's easy. You don't have to integrate something. You don't have to interface with something, nothing. It just works.
Okay.
But this is just half of the truth. So you have inbound calls also.
Yeah.
What to do then? So you receive a call and you want to do something. You want to trigger some actions, you want to open your web application, you want to open your old-fashioned whatever application.
Your CRM system, your ERP, you could be in support with a ticket system.
Whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Some sort of system you might have or you will have, and you have to interface with it. How can you do it? You can do it talking servers to each other. So we have a lot of integrations, and then you can use our APIs and you can do a fancy integration.
Yeah, but if you don't want to go too deep, this is sort of the lightweight variation of how to get an integration up and running that is not so difficult and actually very quick.
Very quick, and sometimes, or in many cases, it's just good enough.
Yeah, okay.
Depends on the application which you're using. What do you have to have is you have to be able to pass parameters to your application.
Okay.
So it's not enough if you can open it. So it, on the one hand, it should have command line parameters if it's a traditional app.
Yep.
Or if it's a web application, you should be able to pass some parameters to the URL you
Okay. Parameters could be things like customer number,
customer number, telephone number, name, whatever.
Enough theory. Let's dive straight into the practice and have a look at it. So, how does it work?
It's easy. You just click here, and then you go to the client actions, and then you have these opportunities.
Okay.
So here's a URL you can call. This is just type in the URL, and you can add some variables to it. We will test it in a minute. Then you can choose open manually or automatically. So this is the full auto mode. If you get an inbound call, then it will open for internal calls, for externals, or always. Same goes for an classic application. You can use a binary file here or executable in Windows, and you can pass some parameters to it. So very same, you can then enable the full auto mode if you are brave enough. Yeah,
if you're brave enough. I personally don't like the full auto mode, but that's just my preference.
Yes. So we try it out. So http example.com. And it will open this URL, and we will add here, you have a little description, but it's already enough. So for a simple example, we just passed a number which from the caller to this application example.com. So that's it basically. If you put something in here, then your channel already changes. You get this
icon,
lucky button.
Yep.
And you can click it, and it performs the action already. This is the manual way. So if you get an inbound call, you have the very same icon. We will see this in a minute, and then you can click on it. But for testing purposes, you can just go through your channel and do some testings. Did it work? How did it work for this and that customer? And if you forget to click on the inbound call, you can go afterwards to your channel. Just scroll there, search for the guy, and then click on it.
Okay, so that's quite good because obviously you can then do it like after the fact and during the call and all this kind of stuff. So it's very flexible. But now I think it's time we take a look at actually it happening live.
Yes. So we do an inbound call.
Yeah.
We have a mobile here. We will have a call. We will have a call of James Barton. That's amazing.
I'm amazing. I haven't got my phone in my hand, and here it comes.
Yes. Here is the action button now, already in the pickup notification. So if you like to do it there, but also here you have the action, and you can press it, and then you can see that it bypasses, so I can hang up now because I don't want to talk to him actually, because I can talk to you directly.
Fair enough.
You have now this here, and you can bypass this number to example call.
Okay.
So what we did already is we transferred the number to an application.
Now that's, as a telephony service, that's the basic information. But obviously if you've got customer management applications like CRMs and whatever, you're going to have other information that is also useful to filter.
Yes. Because if you bypass the number to your CRM, this is possible maybe, and then it searches for that number, but you can be much more specific.
Okay.
We told you already, if you follow our tutorials, if you use our phone book, then you should try to have as good data as possible, because this is key for our system.
It's very important to have a clean, up-to-date, relevant phone book.
Yes, because you have so much advantages from it. You have it on all your phones, all Android, iOS, everywhere accessible, and you can inform your employees or your colleagues very easily about everything. Is this customer important? Which customer number does he have? So if you don't know what we're talking about, watch the tutorial about
on call labels is one good tutorial to watch, and phone book obviously another one.
And here again we can use this for our advantage.
Okay.
So here I can add the customer number to each phone book entry. And if I go here, I have the phone book entry, or I have the label CNR, so for customer number, and it's tied to the variable this one. So I have to find that out, and now I can use it. So let's have a look at our phone book entries. If I search for James, then I see this is his phone book entry, and here if I have labels, I can manipulate them. So I could do it by hand, but the most advanced or best way would be my import
from my data source, wherever it may be.
Feeds this already.
Yeah.
So that's good. And then I have the customer number in there. Now I can use this customer number in my actions also. So I go here, back client actions, and instead of the number, I now bypass the MDC label 5, and I can give it a try immediately. So now if I go back to the journal, and if I click here, I can see now this customer number is bypassed. So I think that's cool and easy.
It's very cool, very easy, very quick.
Yes, and if you have a web application, then in most cases, if you go through your web application and click around, then you will find out very easily. If you open a customer, then you can see the URL, and then you see ID equal blah, blah, blah. And then you know, this is how it works. And then that works.
And that, I mean, that's as an end user, if you're an IT guy, you should already know this anyway, and working with variable parameters and so on is fairly straightforward.
Yes.
So it's a very quick, easy, pretty powerful setup for the end user to integrate into the CRM systems.
Yes. And if you don't like to see it in your pascom client because you have a very ugly, let's say one of those unique IDs.
I was going to say, it doesn't have to be a visible label.
Characters. Yes.
Yeah.
You can use the label. I can show you. And then here is an option in the label showing the client yes or no. So you can just use it as a placeholder to store the variable, to store the values in, but nobody will see it ever.
So if your IDs for your customers are so long and you don't want to block up the client, that's the way forward. The result is still the same, except for the fact that the end user doesn't see it and isn't annoyed by it.
That's a very cool solution. It's easy, it's fast, but you have to know where to start and how to combine labels, phone book, and the actions.
Exactly. Good. Well, that's it for client actions. Very powerful, very useful customer management tool. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time. Goodbye.